Hey, good morning. Chuck here with Apple Drains. Today we're installing a drainage system that actually runs off of the garage behind this house. Driveway slants all the way to the back, pours across into the neighbor's property. What we're doing is we're putting a sump pump in the very back corner, hooking up the downspouts, gravel perforated pipe, runs into the sump pump, and we're going to discharge it right out here to the street. Sod cutter. If you don't know what this is, it's just like a machine, but you can actually kick this thing. It's going to cut a really nice piece of sod, roll it up, set it off to the side. This is available at most good tool rental places. Works really good. Just kick it. You can see it just takes that sod right off. Then you can just roll it up. And set it out of the way. So what I'm doing is out front, cutting the sod, and trenching on out to the street. So when you're cutting sod, if it's weak sod, you can usually just take your shovel and just make an edge. Try to keep your line straight. Other side, remember it's going to be a shovel wide, so make sure it's wide enough. Make sure it's wide enough that you can put your shovel down in your trench. Take off about a 1 foot section. You don't want to go too deep. Get it down underneath, slide it up, and flip it onto one side of your trench. This way you can come back and put your dirt on the other side of your trench. Then when you put your sod back, it'll come back and hopefully it looks really good. Then after you dig backwards for a few feet, come back and scrape it out, clean it out.
So remember, when digging in weak sod, you can still have a good cleanup. Notice we've got all the sod put back. It looks great. This system's going to last for many, many years, and it's the system that we're concerned about, but we do try, of course, to make things look good.
We've got to adapt from the channel drain to 1.5 inches. We've got this lanai downspout that comes down, and we have the house downspout that comes down. And you can see what someone had done. Can you see this is perforated? You see the holes in there? And it goes down into the ground. It just goes nowhere. And that's why you can see all this water. There's no way that the dry well works, especially in Florida. I mean, I don't know how many times I've said this, but it just doesn't work. And more than likely, the irrigation guy did this, trying to help out the homeowner, but yeah, it's kind of a mess. So we're gonna go ahead and plumb all this together, and it's just a fun little install. So with a little bit of work, you can get this to get together. Let's go over it. We've got channel drain coming out, 1.5 inch pipe, comes over, and we cord straight down into the corrugated. We've got the lanai downspout coming down. It comes in, and this is all going over to the sump basin. We've got 1.5 inch pipe. We had to come around this post where they've got the concrete. This was the real problem here, but you know, it's just something that you have to do. And I can see the pump just kicked on, and it's coming down through the line, and it's discharging out at the end. It's working really good. So you can see how that pump kicks on. It just pumps all that water right out of that basin. We just have the garden hose in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour some gravel around here, because this is not a watertight fitting. It's not supposed to be, But we'll pour some gravel around here to help some of the water that does not come down from the channel drain. If it doesn't get into this pipe, it'll just perk down into the ground. And tighten this up a little bit, secure these with screws, and we're ready to backfill this area. So yeah, I mean, this is something you guys can do, and it's not hard, but it is when it's hot and it's sweaty and you're in a tight little space like this. It makes things, you know, a little bit more difficult, but I promise you that you can do this. Just take your time and you'll get it right. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day. Back in the old day, they used to use concrete or ceramic tiles, and these are 1 foot long. You can see these are old ones I pulled out of an old footer tile around the basement. Let me bring you a close up. You can see they're just concrete pipes, and what they did was they just butted together down in the trench. As water floods up through the trench, enters that seam, and then of course comes out the pipe and is carried away. I can remember the first time I came across field tiles was cleaning an old septic tank drain field. I dug it up. This was back in the 70s. And I saw these pipes. And I thought, oh great, I found the pipe. I exposed the pipe and found that they were just 1 foot sections. Made it very difficult to clean, because if these are offset, the cable could come out that hole as you try to clean it. So a great system years ago, still works today in many homes around the country, down in the basement, the footer tiles, or in an old farm field like this. These things work great to take away water. Let's lay one out and take a look. Down in the trench, this is what it looks like. They simply laid these flat, and then the next one sat right beside it. They just butt together, and they ran these all the way through their system, and they work just like today's gravel perforated pipe. So basically you could put soil over it. Of course they learned to put some type of aggregate, you know, underneath and on the top to help that water flood up and into the pipe, and it really works great. Let's go ahead and pour some gravel over this so you can see how well it actually works. I'm going to lay one more tile back here. Then just gravel by the bag. And I'm just going to add the water, you know, right here so that you can see what happens. A lot of the water is going to come through the gravel, so here's our simulated rainfall. And I'm just going to stick it down in the gravel so I can come over on the camera and zoom in on that for you. Oh yeah, you can see that water come right through that pipe. Let's zoom in on it. Can you see that? It's coming right through that pipe. Let's take the GoPro over there and take a look from the inside. You can see it just comes through those seams in the pipe. Water floods up and comes right into the trench. Works really well.
So again, French drains, they really are a basic system, and your job as the contractor for yourself is to make sure that the line runs downhill. That takes the labor, and that's why it's costly when you call a contractor. You're basically paying for that labor. Parts and material are not that expensive, but it is difficult digging in clay, especially here in North Carolina, South Carolina, you know, all through the Midwest.
On the West Coast, it's the same thing. You can have a clay base, or you could have a sand base. You could have a rock base. This is what your job is as the contractor for yourself, is to make your system run downhill. We've got plenty of fall as it comes out there, but we still need to drain the area. So as you're digging, you can see here's one shovel deep, but we've got to go much, much deeper. So you come back through, pull it out. Remember to work backwards. You'll also notice that I've got all the dirt on the same side of the trench. Try to keep your area clean. It's a lot of cleanup when you put it all back together, especially when you're digging through sod. You could put tarps out. We found it's easier just to rake it all back as long as you get it done in one day. After you dig back a few feet, the rock's down there. After you dig back a few feet, sink your shovel in, use your body weight. Just push against it. Scrape it up, lift it out. Now we're at the proper depth. There's actually 2 shovels deep. 2 times I've been through here. You can see I'm just scraping it out. So we'll continue digging this out, then we'll bring in our materials, we'll lay it out here, put the hose on it, we'll see if these systems actually work. Hey, this is Chuck with Apple Drains, reminding you that if you believe you can do something, I guarantee you can do it. Have a great day.